this. All right, simple interest. Dead serious. I know I probably told you in the past I've lied to you, because I lie to you all the time, Aiden. You always have. It's just the way I am. I lie all the time. But when we get to compound interest and interest added daily and stuff, it's not easy. You've got to make sure that you have a calculator. Please, please, please. Bring a calculator. I'm about out of them. You see around the room, they're disappearing. There were like 6 in the little bags. Yesterday I looked and there was 2. So I don't know where they're going. I don't care where they're going. It's your responsibility now to make sure that you have some. And also,
teachers, pardon the interruption. With the following students, please report to Mr. Brackman's room in 219. Elijah Davis, Braden Atkins, Willow Bush, Heavenly Gayhart, Sean Lane, Chase Rubush, and Haley Stevenson. Thank you.
and also, most of you I think have it, but I think like Seth, you might want to. You might want to, I don't know where that. You might want to get a calculator, because you're going to need a calculator that prints across the screen. And I know for most of you, that you're saying, what? Most of the calculators, that's what they do now, but some of the older calculators don't do that. So you've got to have one that prints across the screen. So if you type in like 5 plus 2, it says 5 plus 2 on the screen. Not the old calculator where you type in 5. Make sure you check everything, all right? Where you type in 5, then you hit plus, then you hit 2, and it just shows you the answer. You want the calculators that type across the screen. Got to make sure you start having one. Again, I think, like I said, I found 2 calculators yesterday that were in the little bags. Those will probably disappear here pretty soon. So get one from somewhere, borrow one from somebody, start bringing it to class every day, because you are not going to be able to do these formulas without it.
You would have had 3, but on accident I put this in my bag for some reason. I mean,
So we're back up to 3.
Smarter. Maybe it would have been smarter too.
Dylan, I love you, so I'm happy that you have one. You believed that, didn't you? You believed that, didn't you?
No, you don't. I love you. I go home and cry.
All right, simple interest. Interest is the amount of money paid for the use of a lender's money. It doesn't have to be a lender. With simple interest, it's probably your money. You put money in the bank, that money doesn't just sit there, and that's what everybody thinks. Think you go to the bank and the bank down at Eaton's got millions and millions of dollars stuck back there in their safe. That's not the way it works. It's been a while now, but last time I talked to a police officer about bank robberies in Preble County and Darke County and the surrounding area in Montgomery County, the average when somebody robs a bank in our area and somewhere around here, they average getting like $7,000.
Not even worth it.
That's exactly. Because if you use a weapon to rob a bank, then it's like you committed murder, because it's the sentence for robbing a bank or robbing anybody with any kind of weapon is life.
Or just beat them up.
So $7,000, you think you're going to go down and rob the bank and you're going to get like hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not there. They don't have that much money on account or right there on the premises, because what they do is they use your money, all right? And it gets sent out, loaned out to somebody else. It gets loaned out to somebody else, and that's why they pay you interest. They pay you interest because they're using your money.
How much money do you think those trucks have that go to stores?
The armored trucks, yeah, and that's, if you wanted to rob something, that's probably the smarter thing to do. The bad thing is that it's armored and they got two guys with guns that are right there, and one of them stays locked in the truck at all times.
I've watched movies, I know what kind of
Okay, you make sure you let us know so we can come watch when you get ready to do it, all right? 'Cause
I'll give you a cut.
we all know, we all wanna say bye to you, cause they're not gonna fool with you, they're just gonna shoot you.
Oh, that's all right.
No, it's not all right.
They're on the inside, on the outside.
That's what so you got Peyton and Aiden driving this truck. Aiden's sitting in the truck, Peyton's the one delivering the money in and out. You're gonna get Peyton,
I'll trip him, and I know he ain't shooting me, so I'm good.
but you can't get in the truck. The truck's all locked
No,
up.
I'm like, hey, here, I got the money to put back there. And Aiden be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, that's the way they do it.
I'm on a armored transport board.
So if I'm the one doing this, you need to pick somebody
I got
else
back
who's doing this
everyone
because
getting
I'll just get
blasted.
distracted. I'll see a
You
shiny
get
thing. and just go,
sniper
"Ooh,
'em,
shiny thing."
like sniper, like
Yes.
2 or 3 guys sniper them, shoot them down, and go steal their money.
But the one guy never ever leaves the truck.
Yeah, but you
That could be a
yeah,
game.
you sniper everybody, and whoever's in the truck, kill him somehow.
Somehow. Dylan's thinking about this.
Like he put
Dylan,
You do it by
I am
magic.
encased in that much steel. You are never gonna hurt me.
I'm sorry to say it, but he'll eventually get out of there. He has
What
to
did
go
you just
home
say?
sometime.
He'll drive away.
Well, because
He's not gonna stay there and let you rob him.
You just throw gas in there.
Well, then there goes the money.
If he
You
drives
blast
away, I'll
the back
shoot him
open,
in the
you
head.
throw
Why
mustard
is
gas
driving?
in there.
Hey, I watch
Kill
ETA,
him.
just throw C4 on the bag, blow the doors open, and the money falls out by itself.
Yeah.
It's like the movie.
Yeah, like ETA. Totally how it works, right?
So,
You know,
simple interest, back on track, simple interest paid only on the original principal. When you're talking about simple interest, they pay you, if you put $100 into the account, they pay you interest on that $100. When we talk about compound interest, next class, then you get paid for not only the money that you put into the account, but also for the money that the interest is, all right? So each time, so if you put $100 in there and you draw $1 worth of interest, next time that how much interest you make is figured up, it's not on the $100, it's on the $101, all right? And then the next time, so it just keeps getting added on. Again, most savings accounts are simple interest. They don't do compound interest. Now, at the end of the year or whatever, that money's added back into your account. Then, now it's in your account, and then you get paid interest on top of that, if you kept everything in there. Most credit cards and different loans and stuff like that, they do compound interest. Because if they're taking money from you, they want to get as much money from you as they possibly can, right? Now, if they're paying money to you, they want to pay out as little as they can. That just makes good business sense, all right? And that's what a bank is. A bank is a business. So simple interest, it's got a pretty easy formula. Yeah, we'll go over this first. Your principal is the amount, it's not Mr. Eiler, it's the amount of money that's put into the account. That's what you start with. How much is your principal? Your annual interest rate, which we've talked about already this year, is just the percent. Now, if it's annual, what's that mean? What's annual mean?
It's yearly.
Yearly. What you got to remember with annual here, not everything that we do is going to be just based on years. So you got to remember that when you're talking about the interest rate, when you're talking about the R that's in this formula that we're going to deal with, that always has to be given in terms of years. So if one of the problems says you left the money in the account for 3 months, are you going to put in 3 for your number of years? No. You put
312.
3 over 12.
No,
If you leave it in there for 50 days,
50 over 365.
so you gotta remember that there's 12 months in a year, and that would be on bottom of our fraction if we're putting this stuff in, and
65 days in a year.
365 days in a year. And I sort of wrote this wrong. This should be that's actually the T in the formula because it's time. But I'll show you the formula here in just a second on the next slide.
3 months.
Where's everybody at today? Is today some kind of special day or something? Just didn't want to come to school.
I don't know, I got a text from Paige saying, hey, return home.
So he's awake, but not here.
He's awake.
Yeah, he's probably back to sleep.
We're at leave now, we're on the weekend.
Oh, he plays a game a lot.
A lot.
I mean, I'm sorry, but
They just told me yesterday in the meeting, I think I mentioned to you guys last class that worried about people actually being in this class at the end of the year. I gotta turn in names, and so if your grades for the first 2 9 weeks weren't good, they're probably gonna switch you out.
so what, Apex?
I don't know what they'll switch you to.
Don't worry, we don't hold
I'm not worried about your class, I'm worried about another class. I won't get switched to Apex.
So yeah, just know for any of your classes, in the teachers' meeting yesterday, we're supposed to send in names of people, seniors who are in jeopardy of failing.
And I mean, in a way, doing that's a good thing because you're helping them out.
That's true, but I'm sorry, Kylie, it bothers me because I thought I was helping you out by teaching this class and trying to
You know
help
what I
you.
mean, like in other classes, like, instead of just like, you're not doing anything about it, like helping them.
Right. Yeah, I understand. I understand why they do it. I just don't like the fact that,
It's an easy way out, I think, too.
right, and I'm not saying that I'm mad about it. I'm just saying, as much as I've pleaded and complained and whined and everything all year long, I would hope that, everybody starts to do their work and does what they should do.
It just helps if you show up.
And Mr. Ebersole, thanks for nominating me student of the month.
I didn't do that.
Someone did.
I didn't.
Can you guys see that stuff? Can you? Oh, you can? No, I mean, can you see the
Oh.
nominations
No,
and stuff?
Miss Martin told me.
Who?
Miss Martin told me.
Yeah, I'm gonna yell at her. Silly woman.
Miss Martin.
The formula, I'm gonna write this formula up here because it's sort of hard to read there. I, what do you think I stands for?
Interest.
Interest. P, what? Principal. Times. R,
Rate.
rate, and then T stands for
Time.
time, and that T always has to be in terms of years. So if you're doing 6 months, then you gotta put 6 over 12 in place of that. If you're doing 50 days, then you gotta put 50 over 360 in place of that. And all you're gonna do to find this simple interest is principal times rate times time.
What's the principal again?
At the end of the equation, what does L and P
That,
mean?
that's an I. It's,
Oh,
yeah,
it's
it's-
an I?
that's why I was writing it up here because
Oh.
computer, when you type a capital I into a computer,
Right,
it makes that.
okay, I thought it was an L.
Yeah.
But what does PRT mean? Is
P
it just,
means principal,
rate?
rate, time.
What's a principal?
Mr. Isler.
Principal.
We talked about that
is the
earlier.
amount of money earning
Principal is just how much money you put into the account.
Yeah,
Or if it's a loan or something, how much money they loaned you.
So is compound interest, is that like when the money is
Wait, I'm already
earning
on.
interest and then that money's also earning
Right.
interest? That's compound.
So if you had a savings account, the best kind of interest would be compound interest, and it'd be best if it was compounded daily. Because then maybe you make 2 cents on your money in the account today, well then tomorrow, you're not only making interest on the money that you put into the account, but you're making money on that 2 cents, and then the next day, and so on and so on.
Hey,
So, with credit cards and stuff like that, that's what they compound it daily, or weekly, or monthly. So when you take out a loan somewhere, they're adding on that extra money that you owe them all the time. With savings accounts, usually a savings account, most like banks will add it on monthly. Once a month, they'll give you the interest. Then you get paid on top of that for everything in the account. Once you do this other formula down here, don't make this formula harder than it is. If you put $500 in the account and you earn $2 worth of interest, all you do to find the total amount in that account now is just add them. So now you'd have $502 in the account. All right, so that bottom formula is just saying, how much interest did you make? Add that interest on to what you had in the account originally. Seth, where do you say you lost that?
I lost, like, what the situation is, like, of this, like, what do you mean by, like, like, I can't remember.
I waited too long to ask you.
I can't spit it out, man, like.
How about your calculator so we can do this together? We'll do a couple of examples and we're gonna go to the computer stuff. John, whatever that guy's name is, deposits $6,300 in an account that pays 3.5% interest rate. Determine the simple interest for 3 years. All you're gonna do, every one of these. I equals P times R times T. This one, we're trying to find the interest, so that's just gonna stay I. What's our principal this time?
60,000
Times
What's the rate?
3.5.
Now, you gotta remember, when you're doing the rate, it's a percent. When it's given here, what do we gotta do to change that to a decimal?
move it over one place.
2 places, every time. 2 places. So what's that 3.5% gonna be as a decimal? Be careful. Point 035. 0.035.
Come back here.
Times, the time has always got to be in years. Well, they give it to us in years this time, and it's just 3 years, so you just put in 3. And then all you're going to do is multiply those 3 together. That's simple interest.
606.
So how much interest did John earn on his money?
$661.50.
Everybody agree with that? So after 3 years, if we wanted to, that's the interest that he's gonna earn. After 3 years, how would we figure out the amount, how much total he has in this account?
6,300 plus that 661.
You just take, this is your interest, you still have that money in the account, they don't take that money. So you take the money in the account plus the interest, and that's gonna give you the total amount in the account, so it'll have about $6,961.50 in the account after 3 years.
Yep, 6,961.50. You're good at math.
Determine the amount of simple interest given on principal for each of the amounts. So we're just gonna go down through and do each of these, just to show you how to deal with months and how to deal with days and so on and so on. The first one's pretty easy. Interest, what's our principal this time?
4,000.
Times,
6 point.
so how do what I do to change that to a decimal?
.006.
2 zeros?
Yeah,
One?
No, it's just 0.06.
0.06. You guys confuse yourselves because you're still saying that zero in front of the decimal. Don't even say that zero, it doesn't mean anything. 0.06, that's all we need. All right? And what's our time this time?
4.
4, so you just put in 4 then.
960.
If I agree with Adam on that, $960. Does it make sense that he had or this person, whoever it is, had $4,000 in account? After 4 years, he had an extra $960 in there. Yeah, it's sensible. Yeah. You put $4,000 away somewhere, you'd hope after 4 years you made some money on it. 4 months. Everything for this is going to stay the same. The principal's the same. What's the rate again?
.06.
0.06, good. Now the time this time.
3 or 4 12.
It's 4 over 12. Because we're not, the T always has to be in terms of years, so we're not doing a whole year. When you do this, and I'm gonna explain to you how to do this, and it's not hard, it's just one extra step on your calculator. You just multiply, the same as you did before, 4,000 times 0.06 times the top number, then divided by the bottom number.
80.
80 what?
Dollars.
Now let's look at this. Principal is $4,000, so we put $4,000 in some account. We waited 4 months. Does it make sense that we're gonna have an extra $80 in that account? Now, does it make sense that we only have $80 in the account?
No,
No, we got 80 and still the
4,000.
4,000.
Okay, so, quick question, it's dumb, but the interest money that you just got, you keep that, right?
Well, and that depends. Depends on what the account is. If it's a savings account, then they're probably just gonna add it into your account. So it's just gonna get put into that account. If it's something like, maybe stocks or something, you get outset and you're
I have no idea.
a big stockbroker and you're making all this money on Wall Street.
I don't know anything about stocks.
Guys, I don't know, this one's not,
It's not working.
the button that pushes up in it.
I'll look at it in a minute. Yeah, just, there's one in there. So if you're doing stocks, this interest may be considered dividends. And what dividends, and we'll talk about that as we go throughout the year. So they may send you a check with that $80. So it just depends on what kind of account it is. All right? The last one. What's our principal on this?
4,000.
4,000.
0.06.
Times 0.06.
And then times 4 over 360.
Now, this is in days. So 4 out of 365. Ignore that going up there. Now, before you start punching this in, if you've left $4,000 in this account for 4 days, are they going to pay you a whole bunch of money? No, it's not going to be a whole lot. So you should have some sense that when you're punching this in to know that, hey, this is probably going to be a low amount of interest because I only left it in there for 4 days.
2.63.
When you do it again, 4,000 times 0.06 times the top number, then divided by the bottom number. And you said it's what?
2.63.
So after 4 days, if we stuck $4,000 in this account, after 4 days, they would pay us $2.63 worth of interest. Yes, it's not bad. The bad thing is here,
Interest rate's not that high.
right, most savings accounts, well, no savings accounts are you gonna draw 6% interest. You might draw 0.6% interest, which would be, we bump it over 2 places, that'd be 0.006. And if we did that, you'd make a whole lot less money.
That would be like.
As a matter of fact, let's try that with 4 days. If we put in 0.006, .26,
Yep.
so 26 cents. So in 4 days, you'd make 26 cents on your $4,000.
That 10% of the 6%. It's 0.006, 10% of 0.06.
Yeah. So if we did that, 0.26, somebody help me out and do this. 0.26 divided by 4.
Or 6. I did something.
Yeah, you're only making.
0.065.
So we're making about 6.5 cents each day on our money. If it was that interest rate, 0.6% instead of 6%.
In 4 years, it would only be $96. And you got $160 up there.
Right. So that's why savings accounts, and that's this 0.6%, that would be a high interest rate for a savings account. Remember the other day, we looked at it and they were like 0.2 or something, and not very much.
Might as well put it in your can.
Yeah. Nathan Perez earned $220 in simple interest in 9 months at an annual interest rate of 8%. How much money did he invest? On these, this is one of the algebra ones. You got still the same formula. Watch closely on this one, a little tougher. Still I equals P times R times T. This time, we know the interest. How much interest did Nathan earn? $220. So that goes there. What was the principal? How much money did he invest originally? We don't know, do we? So we're just gonna leave that as P. What was the rate?
8%.
So what's that as a decimal?
0.08.
0.08, good. Time? 9 out of 12. 9 months out of 12 months. Now to do this, we're trying to solve for P here. We're trying to find how much he actually put into the account originally to get $220 after 9 months.
The 220 times.
So what we do here,
5.
let's go ahead and do this part. Take 0.08, take 0.08 times 9 divided by 12. What's that give you?
That goes there.
0.006.
Point what?
06.
And that still equals 220, right? Now to get P by itself, if we're multiplying by 0.06, what are we gonna do? Divide. So divide both sides by 0.06. So 220 divided by 0.06. What's gonna happen when you divide by 0.06?
Go bigger.
The number gets bigger.
$3,666.67.
So how much did he invest originally?
Not that much.
That much.
Make that.
No, it's just doing it backwards. You just gotta figure this out first and then divide both sides by whatever that is.
Kind of miss algebra.
All right, on your computers, so get your computers out while I'm trying to get mine pulled up here. On your computers, you got an email from me. Go to your email. The email should look something like this. It's just got two highlighted things on there. I'll give you a minute, get your computer, make sure they're started and everything. You couldn't sit back here playing, and liar.
Yeah. Okay, what do we look like?
I would be mad at you, but you're actually playing a match game, so that makes me happy.
What? I want to smack though. I
Tasty.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm close. Tastes like Shrek. Eat all the wish.
Come up here, plug this one in, plug it right behind you. Here, see if you can log on to it. I don't know how. My computer's not very good either.
What's it about?
First thing on this, don't click on the game, click on the calculator. So go back to your email if you're on the game already, click on the calculator. You can find stuff like this online,
This is cool.
and it is an actual calculator to do the simple interest. So, I don't know, I can't do this up here, I have to be back at my computer.
Can we get back there?
No, because I want you to do it on yours. We just got done doing a problem, and what was the numbers?
Principal.
4,000, right? And we did, what was the interest, 6%?
Yeah.
And we did it for 4 days, one was one of them. What was the first one, 4 years?
Yeah.
4 years, so let's do this and see if we come up with the same answers that we just got.
Yeah.
Time.
So let's do the 4 years first. So type in 4,000 in this first line.
We could use this and cheat.
Yep. Type in the interest, it's just 6. You don't have to change it to a decimal or anything. This calculator takes care of it. And then put 4 in here, and it's for years. And then hit calculate, and right down here it'll tell you how much the interest is.
$960.
960? Isn't that what we said?
Yep.
Now let's do the 4 days.
4 days.
Type in 4,000, 6%, put 6 in the second line. Put in 4 in this line and drop. It's got this drop box here. Drop it down. Does it say days somewhere on there?
Yeah.
So click on days and then hit calculate. What's it say? 2.63. Is that what we said?
Yeah.
$2.63.
You can break it down in weeks too.
So it's got, I don't know, on the drop down again, I don't know, maybe I can.
Days, weeks, months.
Yeah, it's got
quarters.
days, weeks, months, quarters. What's a quarter?
Probably a quarter of a coin a year.
A quarter's a coin. That's good said. Quarter of a year. What's that mean?
Quarter of a month.
So 365 divided.
I don't know,
by
but you
4.
get $240 stuff.
Quarter.
91 days.
Would it be 3
25
months?
cents.
Tell them all, lady.
It would be 3 months.
Each quarter of a year is 3 months. If we have a year, if we have this whole year and we split it up into fourths, into quarters, 4 parts, right? How many parts are in this first quarter?
3 months.
3 months. In the second quarter, 3 months. Third quarter, fourth quarter. Now they do that because a lot of accounts and stuff, that's what they're split up into, is quarters. They split it up into a quarter of a year, and that's when they pay you interest or they charge interest or whatever. A lot of accounts do that. A lot of stocks and bonds and stuff, they go by quarters of a year,
It should be 91 days.
which is about 3 months.
Yeah. 91 days and 25 cents. Or 25 cents.
So you got that calculator.
A quarter of a day.
again, I typed it in, this morning, because every time I go through and do this each year, this, the calculator that I pulled up last year for this class was completely gone. It's no longer there, but there's always some new one. Just type it in, and it'll calculate it for you. And this is just simple interest. Notice up here at the top, if you wanted to solve for principal, see how smart Adam actually was, see if we got that last problem right. If we wanted to solve for principal, I changed that. The interest, what was the interest?
220.
220, so type in 220 right there.
8%.
Was it 8%, is that right?
Yep. Yeah. Sounds good.
And then what was the time, 9 months?
Yeah.
So put in 9 and hit the drop down and go to months,
Was that right? Look at that.
and then hit calculate. Was he right?
Yeah.
Exactly right.
See, I didn't think he was that smart, but I guess I was wrong.
What was the numbers again?
So we changed this, did you change that to principal?
Solve for
Interest was
220.
220,
8%.
rate was 8, and then the time was 9, but we gotta change it to months.
That.
And it should come up, well, I don't know, what was it?
$3,666.67.
Is that what you got?
Yeah. What film?
Calculate. Alright, go back. Now the game that's on here. On this game, go back to the email, click on the game.
The computer just killed itself.
It's a
Again?
seventh grade game.
Oh my gosh. I'm back in seventh grade.
That's what I thought when I first looked at it, and then I thought, this is a little tougher than. Now, the problems that they give you aren't the hardest, but, so you're gonna click on it and just play it? You give up?
Yeah, the computer's pissing me off.
What's wrong with it?
The motor. I sent it to them 3 different times and it's still acting up.
Just start around.
So,
Do that.
do this. Do this. You're gonna type in by hitting the money. So if I think this first one is
Dropped it down the street.
$11.05, I just hit the coins and the dollar bills there and I hit submit. Incorrect.
What is a simple interest if you borrow 200 for 3?
So now you're gonna have to have out your calculator again, and on your calculator,
Teachers, pardon the interruption. With all sophomores going on the CTC trip, please report to the high school concourse. Thank you.
you're gonna type in each time here, so for, is this the first one, this is the second one, isn't it? Did they go on me?
No, it's next week.
Yeah, they messed
So let's reset it, see if it goes back.
I got it right.
What is it?
Does it make sense?
200.
Do I have, Ally, do I have to keep explaining it?
200
You can handle it? Try a few of them, see what you're coming up with. Use your calculator. Is that computer working?
So if you start you get text like say that. I like that.
Click on game and hit that.
$6. That's incorrect. It's 60.
I just said people, but then when I did it, it's in so what happened? Remember the beginning of the year, I literally had a cough like almost a month.
Oh, yeah.
Because it wouldn't go away.
I don't know why it was taking you sort of a strange setup.
It took me that way too.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, then I just exited out of it and got that on.
Kylie, all this making sense? Would you rather have her as a teacher than me?
You.
far as anybody, cause I only got through like 3 of them before I quit.
I'm on 5.
I'm on 10.
I only got
I've
Yeah.
got 8 right.
How, do they get tougher as they go, or?
Sort of.
This is
Yeah.
kind of
The
Yeah.
the only
And then I
thing
yelled
that
at
changes
the
is
same
the
time.
numbers, but
I know, but, so do they start doing
Oh,
stuff,
shit, 10.
like this one's got 2 years, do they do stuff like days or months or anything?
Yeah.
They do that? They start.
they've done months.
Months.
I've not seen the days.
Not days yet.
Point.
What's your assignment?
I'll tell you here in just a second.
I think it is, yeah.
Part I liked about this is they make you actually do the money.
13.
Yeah, like that.
I like it too.
That's sort of,
Makes me feel rich.
now the bad thing is on one of the answers, they do exactly what I tell you not to do. On one of the answers I got, it said something like 100.5.
$100.50.
They didn't put the
Oh,
zero on
yeah,
there like the.
yeah, there's a couple.
I think it only has to be.
Only got 10. See, there's a play against it, because it's saying one.
It just makes me. I'm used to that.
And you can't
There's only
do it
10?
when you're on computer.
I'm on 9.
That's the whole reason I did it when you're on computer, because my computer don't
8
share
months
my charge.
interest rates.
Probably should, no, because my computer now does that charge. I have to charge it like every time I want.
Did it ever let you on? Did it?
It dies quick.
Alright, go ahead.
It's not even mine.
Go down here.
Connor gave it to me. About
I'm gonna go to the little box, go to the first one, just hit restart,
computers, but
let's try that. See if it'll do anything, I don't know.
just put this.
Kayla, how many did you get right?
Incorrect is
He
$4.
gave it to me as a Christmas gift.
We need set.
Because mine broke, and he had no computer.
I got 10 out of 10.
I got 8
So
My
it shows
score's
the
two.
house.
6 months.
He said, call
So
me.
when we do months,
I never
how many months are there in a year? So our time is gonna be 6 months out of 12, because we want it in terms of years. So when you type that in there, do the multiplication like you did on the first two, then you multiply by the top number,
24.
and then divide by, or just put 12.
Because I'm
Right?
still
Just,
check
years
all the
probably.
skills, I was in my
36.
first step to the job search to accept.
I want a $100 bill though.
I only have one I have. What do I press the divide button?
Just the divide button. Just go back and press the divide.
This better be right.
You could, you probably could do it that way that you did it. I don't, it's easier to do it the way I just said.
Hit the $100 and see what it maxes out at.
So do this for me, Seth. How many quarters are there in $4?
Probably never. Of course, in $4.
Yeah.
But we usually go up.
Somebody help me out, how many quarters in $4?
$4. 16.
4 quarters.
16 and $4, right? So push the quarter button 16 times. See if it adds it up, right?
We're at $15,000. I don't think this is gonna ever end.
Have fun.
We're at 20 grand on this. Imagine having that much money.
Now I'm hitting submit.
Yeah, we can only imagine if we can do that much.
I guess they don't have to do that.
Not in hand though.
So instead of just hitting the $1 bill 4 times,
Like 120.
you could have hit the penny 400 times.
Thank you for
I've had about.
Did, Kylie, did it do something different? Or was it the same?
What's 36 months? 30 times 36.
Just do 36 over 12, Dylan.
120. Is that right?
that 2 years.
It's better be right. Correct.
First question is safe.
What's the simple interest if you borrow $150?
If anything, they probably like for me to.
2.09
Do a podcast
times
that help
2
me.
years.
Oh, wait.
Everybody think they can handle that then?
No, yeah, 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 yeah.